Welcome to another episode of a Pneuma Conversation, a raw, authentic, and unfiltered conversation with spiritual leaders, teachers, coaches, healers, and seekers. Get to know who we truly are beyond the polished world of interviews, social media, and podcast. We are not perfect, and we struggle too. Join us as we share our lives, our challenges, and have meaningful discussions on healing, transformation, and the future of humanity. Today, we are in conversation with MARCIE from TikTok, and she is from New Zealand. MARCIE, welcome. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you for having me, Chad.
Oh man, the first time I saw you pop up on my TikTok feed, something just click. I felt the click, I heard the click, and something just said, "You've got to be in conversation with us." And I didn't know why until just a few minutes ago. And but I'm so excited even before I knew why. Just so excited to have you on the show. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So who is MARCIE? You post things here and there on Facebook, or I'm sorry, on TikTok, but we don't know really who you are. So please share. Where are you from? What you do? That kind of stuff. What your childhood was like.
Okay, so yes, I'm very much what I describe as a silent observer on
Yeah.
TikTok. I don't post much, I share a lot.
Hmm.
I use it really to keep up with what's going on in the UFO world. Um, so, yes, I am just a plain person living in a plain little town in New Zealand. Um,
Love the
I
accent, by the way.
Thank you. I have a full-time job.
Mhm.
I have a son and a husband, and yeah, so fairly busy life on the day to day, but every opportunity I have, I'm outside looking at the night sky.
Wonderful.
Growing up, I moved around a lot. I lived between New Zealand and Australia. Went to 6 different primary schools in my childhood, which I feel made me quite an adaptable person. Um, Life wasn't the greatest. My parents separated or divorced when I was 12, and which I viewed as a very good thing for my family. And so mum raised myself and my brother and sister on her own. We didn't have much, but I never felt like I went without. My mum did her best. She was an amazing person. She's not with us anymore.
Mm.
But yeah, we lived in Queenstown for a very long time, and I saw things in the sky. My husband and I had an experience, our first experience, with these green and red rotating lights in a ball following us in our car, traveling home from holiday. Followed us for about 10 minutes, and we couldn't figure out what it was. We'd rolled the windows to the car down in case it was some sort of dashboard light reflection, and we couldn't figure it out, and we really just went on our merry way.
Mhm.
Um, Probably 4 years later, I had another experience with this green light that raced through the sky. It was like a laser beam rod. It wasn't a meteorite or anything like that. There was no tail. So then it was kind of like piqued my interest a little bit, and I started diving into the subject. And I really have quite a scientific mind. I love documentaries. I love educating myself. And so I started diving deep into the subject of UFOs and aliens.
Mhm.
And the ancient civilizations really appealed to me. I feel like we've lost knowledge from those
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
ancient history. And I guess I took it as far back as I could through scientific discovery, archaeology, etc., to Mesopotamia, the Sumerians, and the Anunnaki. And then discovered the Book of Enoch, and
Mhm.
Zachariah Sitchin had done a translation of the Book of Enoch, which is available to anyone to see on YouTube. They're quite
Yeah. Yeah.
lengthy, but very much worth it. And it just really resonated with me that humanity probably may have been created to mine their gold. You know, it's like maybe we have God genes in us. Maybe we are capable of a lot more than we're told to be through modern day education, science. I think a lot of it is suppressed to stop us growing and keep us small and uninquiring. But I have a very inquiring mind, and and then I started watching, like I said to you earlier, Joe Rogan podcasts, and discovered that there was a person that thought like me in the world. And again, that just really resonated. I then was watching a Stephen Greer documentary, and it was called Disclosure. And at the end of that, he started talking about CE5. And I'm a big believer in energy and frequency and vibration. So it really sort of led me down the path of wanting to find out for myself. No government agency was going to be disclosing to us anything. So I had a tool given to me where I could potentially find out for myself. So we had the COVID lockdowns, and that's when I kind of started really getting into it, but discovered quickly that I needed to learn to meditate to be able to astral project, which is visualizing yourself floating outside of your body and then above your house and then above your land, and you take it right out past the planets, out into the outside of the galaxy, and you sit there silently and you make this contact, showing them basically where you are in the world. So I tried that and discovered that I really needed to learn the language to be able to get into the right mind state. I think it's very important that you're aligned, are loving, and have good intentions, I suppose, at the end of the day. So I perfected the techniques and learned meditation, and then started doing the CE5. And pretty much within a few months, I started getting results. I now can get myself into that state without the need to astral project. Sometimes they'll even show themselves to me without me really having to say my mantra that I normally always start with. I like to open a session and close a session, bearing in mind that I really do this only for myself. I don't record anything I do. I would much rather physically see than be looking through a screen. Most of what I see is what they term as flash bulbs. So a quick poof from nothingness in the sky. Sometimes I can get 2 or 3 of those in a row. I get very excited. It really brings out my inner child, these experiences. I jump up and down and I tell them I love them and thank them for showing themselves to me, but it's always in a light form. Very recently, I've started asking for them to make themselves obvious. I don't use satellite trackers, although I'm fairly aware of what a satellite looks like compared to something else. But I just say, look, I don't have all the gear. Please make it obvious to me that you're not a satellite. And then things start getting strange. Like they will float through the sky, they will light up and dim down. They don't really do crazy acrobatics. They travel in threes, like 3 gold lights traveling in threes, and they're always quite high in the sky, until I started asking for them to come closer. You know, I told them I was ready for them to come closer, and it wasn't happening, but I was asking every night. And one night I saw a light approaching from the south, and I had to get out of where I normally sit to stand on the edge of the deck because we've got a tree that blocks the view. And this very bright white light was coming towards me, and I could sort of tell it was almost looking for me. It was going very slow. So I was saying, I'm here, just sort of guiding them with my mind and my words. And it came right above my head. I would say it would have been maybe 100 feet over me. And as it came to me, this fleeting thought entered my mind of sort of like gulp, what's going to happen here? And it made a 90-degree turn and zipped off into
Wow.
nothingness. So I think it picked up that maybe I was
Sure.
apprehensive about what might be going to happen, even though I know it would probably be a positive experience, but you don't know how you're going to react until you're in that situation.
Yeah.
And that same light approached my son and me just a
Mm.
couple of weeks ago, actually. We were,
Okay.
or it was last Friday night, actually, Chad.
Mm.
And it approached slowly and it came quite close, not as close as that first time,
Okay.
but I just watched that one slowly make its way off across the sky. Um, I've just had so many sightings and experiences that are difficult to put into words. Two bright lights to my left when I looked from the right, and I was looking at these two lights. They were very close, and I was thinking they were stars, but I hadn't seen those stars. What are those stars? And then they just slowly moved off together,
Oh my.
So
Wow.
a lot of those kind of experiences, like I call my husband and son out sometimes to see if it's slow moving enough, but often it's very fast and fleeting.
Sure.
So
When
yeah,
was did you ever look up at the sky when you were a kid, and did anything happen when you were a kid?
I I think I've always been very connected to nature. We
Okay.
spent a lot of time in the outdoors as kids. We were avid campers. I still love camping.
Mhm.
Um, Mother Earth is probably my biggest. I'm an empath for the planet
Okay.
and for everything that resides on it. But I think we treat our planet very poorly.
Mhm.
Um, so I really have a great respect for nature and a love for nature and a care. I make very conscious decisions in my own life that try not to impact on the planet too much. Um, so really, I think Mother Gaia is what drives me first and foremost. And
Okay.
it's been in me since a child. And I just enjoy quietness,
Mm.
stillness, sitting
Yeah.
outside with my feet on the grass, absorbing Earth's energies, talking to my plants and my trees, and I think that it's probably maybe what attracts these beings to me because I do have a bigger goal in mind. This is not just to satisfy my own curiosity.
Hmm.
The CE5 protocols are about raising the vibration of the planet and the people that live
Hmm.
on it for a better future, for a more hopeful future, for 1,000 years of peace, a golden age, if you will.
Yeah.
So that to me is what drives me. It's
Yeah.
about how we can affect change, yeah, on a
Yeah.
global scale.
Yep. Um, you had mentioned before we started recording that this is a very spiritual experience for you.
Mhm. Mm.
You're not standing there looking behind the camera. You're not saying there's anything wrong with that. But for you, you don't want there to be a piece of machinery between you and what you're contacting. And so how is it a spiritual experience? Could you explain that? Because I've tried to talk about that before with some other people, and some get it, some don't, and it's okay. But how is it a spiritual experience for you?
Well, first, to be aware that we're not alone, that
Mm,
there's more to life than what meets the eye and what we're educated about or informed about. But I think we have to go inside of ourselves to find those truths and answers. And
mm,
I'm a truth
yes.
seeker.
Yeah.
I want the knowledge and I want to know. So for me, the spirituality comes from these light sources that I see aren't necessarily craft, but they interdimensional? Are they
Right.
angels? Are they? I know they're benevolent and I know that they're light beings, but still, I have so many questions that I want answers from. And
Yeah.
I just, as I went through my awakening journey, um, I really just realized I was pretty much always a high vibrational person,
Mm,
but I just wasn't aware that I was. So I've always done inner work. I've always worked on my traumas. I know what my triggers are. Um, so it's just constantly doing that work. But I feel it's definitely a spiritual connection. What's going on with this
Okay.
phenomena all over the world. I had an experience on a holiday recently. Um, it was Christmas and we'd gone away, and my husband and son had gone to bed, and so I'd made a cup of tea and I went and sat outside, and I thought I'll just have some quiet time, and started chatting away to the sky as I do. And there were a few clouds, and I thought I saw a flash in the cloud, and I said, "Is that you, my star brothers and star sisters?" That's what I call them.
Nice, nice.
And there was all of a sudden, boom, 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 in a triangle formation, three lights. Definitely, obviously, hello, we're
Yes.
here.
Yes.
And I immediately started shaking. I get very emotional. And I thought, right, I've got to ask questions, let's see if I can get a response.
Sure.
So I asked them, the first question was, are you here for peaceful purposes? Like, everyone wants to know, do you come in peace? And the clouds lit up with red, green, white lights, strobes,
Mm.
just crisscross it like in a frenzy, like a light show.
Wow. Wow.
And I thanked them, and I thought, right, what's my next question? I asked them, are you here to rid us of nuclear weapons?
Mm.
Because I don't like the
Hmm.
weapon side of things. And again, they started flashing and putting on this big light show. So I was taking these responses as yeses,
Sure.
obviously. And then the third one was, are you here to awaken humanity? And
Mm.
they just did another light show spectacular. So for me, that was confirmation that what is happening to us is intentional. They
Mhm.
want to be seen. Um, the more people that they can start on their awakening journey, the better that is for where humanity's going. So I think it's preparing us all for this big change. I think there's a global awakening happening, and
Mhm.
I want to be a part of that, and I think it's going to happen in our lives, Chad.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's exciting.
Absolutely it is. I think it's going to happen very, very soon, whether humanity is ready for it or not. But there's enough
Yeah,
of us that are ready for it that it's going to happen.
I
Um,
believe that.
now, I think, and as we talked before, you believe the same way. We all have the gift of discernment, every
Mm-hmm.
single one of us. So when you share these stories, and you may have some naysayers that say, well, how do you know that? And it could just be satellites. It could be this. It could be that. How do you know that they're talking to you? What's the process that you go through for your own self to know, you just in general in life? How do you know what's truth and what's not?
Well, for a long time, I doubted what I was seeing.
Hmm.
It's like, is this a coincidence? Is anyone else seeing this? Am
Yeah,
I alone?
sure.
Um, but I knew that there was a big C5 community, so obviously I'm a part of that on Facebook.
Hmm.
But yes, my husband wasn't interested in hearing about it. He said, "You can do what you want to do, Marcie, but I'm not really into it." So again, I sort of felt, oh, I'm on my own still with this whole thing, but at least Brent tolerates it and lets me do my thing. I made a conscious decision about 2 years ago that I wanted to start living my life in a more authentic way. I feel like I'm dulling my shine by not sharing the things I know. And
Mm.
how do I get my message across? Do you know what I mean? It's like I talk about it with people in a lighthearted manner. I've shut down conversations by bringing it up. I've made a room go quiet. All those things have happened to me. So this is my opportunity to now use my voice,
Mm.
open my throat chakra,
Yeah.
and speak my truth and live authentically. So I'm in a relatively new job. I've been there almost a year. They're all very accepting of me. And I just bowl in there in the morning and say, oh my God, guys, did you know what I saw last night? You know, and they all accept it with much excitement. But
Mm.
I have to sort of go into it with a precursor that I'm not mad, but,
Right.
So I don't even like talking about myself in that way, because I think the
Mm,
words we use about ourselves are very important.
hmm.
They carry a vibration, like words
Yes.
are spelling. Um, and I think they're very powerful. So I guess I've learned to pick and choose my audience. I don't just bowl in and make bold statements anymore, but the audience is very, very narrow. And so
Mm,
I guess this opportunity to speak with you and with like-minded people, it's actually very refreshing and freeing. And but my husband's definitely on board now, so
yeah.
he's seen enough to know, and yeah, he just accepts it wherever I want to take it, really.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a very difficult conversation to have with people. Some are more
Mm,
open-minded than others, some are more interested and intrigued about what I'm doing.
mm.
But yes, it's always just been something I've done for me, not to prove to anyone else.
Yeah.
It's really just for my own spiritual awakening, because I thought if I can, I will, and I am. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I want to thank you and honor you for coming on the show and being willing to be vulnerable. And
Yes.
I want to point out to people that you, when I first reached out to you, you were kind of hesitant's not the right word, but you weren't quite sure if you wanted to talk about it yet.
Mm-hmm. I
And
guess,
and I
sorry.
want I no, that's okay. And I want to point that out because um it's very similar for me. I was scared to do this. I was not ready, didn't want to be seen in this way. This is not my I'm introvert by nature, and I think you are as well. And I have can have a difficult time when I'm feeling like I'm being bombarded from people and feeling like I'm being attacked, and so then I will just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And doing something like this, whether you're coming out on a, hosting a podcast, or you're even being a guest on a podcast as you are, it takes some real vulnerability and it takes some
Mm-hmm.
guts. This is not easy for us, and I want people to hear that, you know, and also to be encouraging that there is a safe place and there are people out there that you can connect with and feel safe with. And anyway, I admire your courage. Thank you for having
Thank
the
you.
courage and the
Thank you.
vulnerability to be here, because this is not easy. And you had to find within yourself of the whether or not you wanted to now speak, because this is the first time you're really in publicly speaking in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a
That's right.
large audience right now, but it's not about, we've even talked about before, it's not about the numbers. We only
Mm,
need a few people to listen
yes.
to bring
No, it's
about
just
change.
those few important connections you make with
Exactly.
like-minded people, and that's
Yes.
what TikTok is for me.
Yeah.
It's not a platform to put myself out there,
Yes.
but I get
Connection.
involved. I get
Yes.
involved. That's right. So um, I guess I have been thinking about how to use TikTok to communicate what I do, or
Mhm.
to share with others. I think it's important that we start talking openly and without
Yes.
fear, because I can guarantee there'd be 5, 10 people in your life that have had experiences but haven't ever said to anybody because of that
Yeah.
stigma. Um, I've never been a person that's backwards and coming forwards. It's more about me learning to rein it in a little bit for the comfort of others, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so, but it is something that I generally keep to myself with the general populace. It's only my very
Yeah.
close friends and workmates and my family that know, not extended family. I think, you know, um,
Mm.
I don't know that they would be open to it, but that's fine too. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. We're not here
everybody
to
has to find their
convince.
own path.
Yeah, we're not here to convince.
No.
We're share this is what I'm experiencing, and I would like to share what I'm experiencing.
Mm,
You don't have to believe it if you don't want to,
yeah.
but this is what's happening for me, and I feel that I need to talk about it. But I'm also not going to talk about it with everyone, and I don't have to either.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
um,
I've invited various friends and work colleagues if they want to come with me one night when I do what I do to feel free and just come and see. But I think, it is a fearful thing for people.
Yeah.
So a lot of people aren't ready to know, and they
Mm-hmm.
have to do these things in their own time. I'm not here to force myself and my beliefs and thoughts on the world onto anybody else, but if you're interested, I'll talk your ear off all day long. So yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
From the time at the moment where we are recording this, you are the fourth person I've had on this show. I call you all sky watchers on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, and all you're the fourth one that I've had on the show. But so many of you on TikTok have embraced me with open arms. You you've contacted me, you're following me, and so this is the fourth time I'm asking this question, and it might be different every four times, and that's one of the reasons I ask it. But what the heck am I saying that all of you are clinging to or attaching to or whatever, that there's something resonating that I'm saying, that all of you are following me and reaching out to me, and what is it for you? What is going on?
I think
Because a
the
lot of
premise.
people think that what we're doing is very separate, but it's
Oh
really,
no, I think it's all encompassing. It
yeah. So go
the
ahead.
breath, the breath is the beginning of all things.
Mm,
Um, the breath needs to make a sound for there to be a vibration, therefore a frequency. Um, Everything is energy. And so I guess for me, it's the spiritual side of things. I'm always willing to investigate and learn. I liked your vulnerability, to be honest. You talk about the breath work and where you wanted to take it, and inviting people to be part of your community. It's just like, heck yeah, I'll follow you, Chad, and maybe I'll learn something new. It's about expanding my own knowledge as well. I think more and more people involved in the UFO topic are discovering that it is a spiritual
mm,
thing.
yes.
Um, I think they've probably been here forever and we've just forgotten because we're not conscious.
Mm,
We're all too busy, heads down, blinkers on, going through the grind, same day. I don't know why more people don't ask themselves what there must be more. There
yeah.
must be more than this. We're not just existing. I think we are here to grow, expand, learn, and become our highest potential. And
Mm,
who knows where that's capped at? I don't think anybody knows that yet, but I think it's coming, you
yes.
know.
I love that you talk about the breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Pneuma, the breath. I talk about the breath all the time and the importance of breathing. And um, you also talked about, before we started recording, you have a real, and I think you mentioned it early on, um, you have a real fascination with ancient civilizations
Mm-hmm.
and ancient technology. I didn't ask you this. Do you believe in past lives? I think you do. Or
I
I may not
think,
know.
well, I don't know about past lives,
Okay.
but I do think our soul lives on. I don't
Mm,
know in what capacity, but I
okay.
think our souls choose to have this earth experience. I think it's almost a contract before we're born
Mm,
that we are here to remember our purpose.
yes.
And we come here to learn how to get there, really. And I think our
Mm,
souls are having a human experience. And after that human experience is over, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we came from. I'm not sure where our souls live once they leave our body, but I would like to think it carries on.
sure.
So, yeah,
Do you think
like
it's
I said, I
possible?
don't have all the answers, Chad.
Right. Do you think it's possible that you may have a past life connection to these ancient civilizations because you are so passionate about it?
Oh, it just intrigues me. I
Mm.
just think we believe that we're a superior race, that we're technologically advanced, but when you look at the ancients and the megalithic structures and the stonework and the design and the complexity, they're not just buildings that housed people or bodies, or I think that they're huge machines. I think they were constructed by a higher intelligence, or at least by a civilization that had technology to melt or levitate stone. And you can tell when the human hands have taken over on a lot of these structures. You know, we go from the megalithic sized blocks to little hildy stones all stacked up. It just doesn't add up. And, you know, you go right back to Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, one of the oldest structures unearthed. It's just, I think that they are like telegraph poles for energy, you know. And what did the ancients know that we didn't know? Building these structures
Mm.
on ley lines and harnessing the energy of the earth and the ether. I think I'd be interested to see when the pyramids realign with Orion in the sky. I imagine them all to fire up, you know, and
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I'd love to see that. But there's a lot of research going on at the moment underneath the pyramids where they're finding
Hmm.
structures and
Yep, yep.
passageways, and it's amazing. And of course, it's always poo-hooed by the mainstream archaeologists, which is pretty
And
annoying, but I tend to follow fringe scientists, I guess, and
yeah, yeah.
researchers.
And see, that's the thing. We're always getting poo-pooed
Hmm.
or redirected to something else. We're
Hmm.
not, which makes us think then, okay, we're not being told the truth.
Hmm. That's
Let's
right.
just say for argument's sake, there's nothing out there, or there's nothing under the structures of the pyramids. Well, then just tell us that.
That's right.
Why do you have to steer us to another direction? Why do you have to tell us that we're crazy or that's
Yeah.
really not what's going on? Just be honest. For
Well,
Pete's,
I think,
but it's difficulty. It's not even difficult. People make it difficult to be honest because they think they have to protect themselves.
well,
And it's like
there's,
we need
yeah,
more vulnerability. We need more honesty. And the more honesty we have, then we wouldn't have all these conspiracy theories either. And not that we need to know
mm,
everything, but don't deter us every time we ask a question. And that's
or
true in
hide,
all walks of life.
or hide discoveries that would benefit humanity. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
I think fossil fuels aren't needed. I think there is free energy available. I mean, Nikola
Yes.
Tesla was an
Oh,
amazing
oh yeah.
inventor and scientist. He was really tapped into, you know, the free energy fields. But,
Mhm.
you know, there's certain narratives and the way the world works that suit these rich fat cats, and they don't want change. And you know, the current narrative that the Egyptians built the pyramids, that suits the Egyptian government. It brings in tourism.
Mhm.
um, but you know, I think the Egyptian government hides a lot of discoveries and blocks access to a lot of archaeologists who are considered fringe or non-mainstream. So the current narrative suits somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Do you
but not
follow
not
Billy Carson?
humanity.
Do you follow Billy Carson at all?
Yes, I do.
I just recently heard on one of his podcasts that he's learned throughout the years that NASA owns anything that's underneath the pyramids, and NASA also owns the Grand in parts of the Grand Canyon where you're not allowed to go to.
Where there
This
are
is
Egyptian
interesting.
hieroglyphs and things in there.
Yes.
Yes, that's
This
right.
is why does NASA need to be involved with anything that's going on underneath the pyramids? Obviously, there's something going on if they own everything underneath. Obviously, there's something going on if you're
Hmm.
blocking access to places we can't go to in the Grand Canyon. But
Well, that's
why
right.
does NASA have ownership? And who
Wow. I have a
who
theory, Chad.
who says that you're allowed to own it? But well, yeah, let's hear your
That's
theory.
right. It's public information at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
these tunnels, etc., there's a lot of them throughout the world that have been
Yes.
discovered. perfect tunnels, not just caves, but perfectly carved out little niches for beds. And, you can tell that communities live down there. I don't know why if humanity had to go underground at one point in time, but, we go back to the Anunnaki, and they were thought to have been a reptilian race. Now, reptiles do live underground, and that is another theory, that maybe these were an alien race that maybe lived underground. So that is a theory that's out there. But are they just deeper mechanics to the pyramids? I don't know.
Yeah.
But hopefully one day we will have all the answers that we want.
I
And
think
I think the aliens are going to divulge all the secrets, and yeah.
Well, I think we already know. It's just a matter of remembering. And I think the the aliens are here to help us remember.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
We
We have
we
to
we
remember who we are and what
Yep.
we're capable of. I mean, we are magicians. I believe we manifest our future, we
Mhm.
manifest our environment, and we're capable of a lot more if we just dig deep and do the
Yes.
research and learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
Oh,
very I'm
Marcy.
very big on manifesting, Chad.
Nice. Oh, Marcy, I'm so glad that you're here in conversation with us. And as we're coming down to the close of the conversation, is there anything that you feel guided to share with us? Anything that you feel led that you need to share before we close out?
Well, I thought I might share my mantra that
Okay,
I say, and share with your listeners what I do and how I prepare myself for it.
please.
So I find a quiet seat. I'm usually seated, and I take a few deep breaths in and out, and I fill myself with those feelings of love, and I get these
Mm,
tingling sensations through my shoulders and my chest, and I hold that space, and I close my eyes and I say, "Good evening, my star brothers and star sisters. My
mm,
name is Marcie, and I
mm,
seek to make peaceful contact with benevolent light beings. If it
mm,
is safe and convenient for you to do so,
mm,
thank you. I love you." And then I wait. And sometimes it happens immediately. I get a flashbulb, a shooting star, even. There's always
mm,
something that shows itself to me. Um, and that's what I say. And I always say goodbye when I'm leaving outside. I don't want to bring anything into the home. So I always close the session off just by saying, "I'm going back inside now. Thank you so much. I love you." Um, so it's closed and I'm
yeah.
not bringing in anything into the home. Um, just focus on love and light, and align with your true self. Walk the talk.
Mhm.
Um, and they will receive that. I think it's a frequency that they pick up on. I think as humanity increases their frequency, we'll all be seeing. You just got to look
Mhm.
up. You just got to take
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time to
yeah,
stop
yeah.
and smell the roses and look up and plant your feet in the earth, and yeah, trust.
Beautiful, beautiful. Do you think, do you think, well, it's a couple layered question, but do you think our governments are going to disclose? Do you think disclosure's happening now? Do you think, how do you think it's going to unfold?
Well, I think peaceful contact is happening now
Absolutely. Yeah.
all over the world. It's occurring. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Um, we are the disclosure. I
Mm,
think us talking openly about it and sharing, I think it's the last thing the powers that be that want to keep these secrets would expect.
yep, yep.
You know that there's a long history of ridicule and dismissiveness from authorities, claiming that we're all crazy, you know. So I think time's changing. This
Yes.
is our opportunity. It's already happening. They're already here.
Yep.
They may have always been here. I think, you know, we've just got to keep carrying on and being as positive and loving and kind to one another as possible. And anything's likely and anything
Yeah.
can happen.
Yeah.
But I believe that change is coming for good,
Hmm.
and that change is started, you
Hmm.
know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
Marcie, what is your biggest struggle?
Talking about it, to be
Yes.
honest, you know,
Yes.
to truly just be free to talk about it to anyone and everyone.
Mhm.
I fear judgment of, you know, what people are going to think of me, but I don't want to walk through life that way. So I'm just going to start putting myself out there more, and I have been doing that, and that's my goal really, is to surround myself by people that I can speak to about these things, and I'm finding my community. So, and it's wonderful. So
Absolutely.
before TikTok, before January, it really was a secretive thing for me.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mm,
Beautiful. Well, again, honor you and thank you for your vulnerability and your courage to be here. Um,
thank you.
and we need more people like you. So,
And you.
oh, well, thank you. Thank you. As we come to a close, will you join us in the breath as we do at the end
Absolutely.
of every show, and then I'll bring us back around. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
As we open our eyes and come back together, we bring the stillness and the sacredness with us to every part of our lives. Marcie, it's been a joy. I'm so glad you were here. So glad I followed my intuition to bring you on here. This has been a treat because I this is the first time you and I are meeting,
That's
and
right.
you know, and again, it's using discernment, it's using intuition, and something just clicked for us. And I'm honored that you decided to open up here. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, Chad. It's
Of
been
course,
great.
of
Love it.
course, of course. So, want to thank you all for joining us again, and we will see you soon in the next episode.